This infant is choking. What do you do? Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Toluwani Rakowska-Falaye and welcome to Meducation Africa, basic medical education and life-saving tips for Africans by Africans. Today we're going to show you what to do when you're with an infant who is choking. Before we talk about what to do when you see an infant choking, we first have to know who we consider to be an infant. So in layman terms or just in everyday terms, an infant is basically just a small child or a baby. But medically speaking, an infant is any child that is under 1 year old. So think of an infant as a small baby who's maybe learning to walk, but definitely can't talk yet, can't form sentences, and can't express themselves. That's what we consider to be an infant. Choking in infants happens exactly the same way it happens in adults. A small object gets lodged within the airways and then it can lead to a blockage of the airways. In infants, it's usually small toys, so it can be like marbles or other small tiny items that adults wouldn't put into their mouths. So just like in adults, choking is very dangerous in infants. In fact, it's even more dangerous because an infant cannot express to you what's wrong. They can't tell you that they're choking. They don't know exactly what to do. So you need to be very aware of any changes that happens in the child when you're watching the child. So just like in adults, choking can lead to a partial blockage or a complete blockage of the airways. And if there's a complete blockage, it means that no air is able to get into the airways. Of course, this is bad because if there's no air getting into the airways, it means that there's no oxygen getting into the blood. Without oxygen, the organs in our body wouldn't be able to function, especially the brain. So just like in adults, choking in infants can lead to death very quickly if something is not done. If you see an infant choking, you need to monitor the severity of the situation. See if the infant is able to cough or even cry. If the infant is coughing or breathing, let them continue to cough and just monitor their breathing. If they can't cough or they're not breathing or they start turning blue, you need to act immediately. The first step is to give the infant 5 back blows with the heel of your hand between their shoulder blades. So just like in adults, you're going to give the infant 5 back blows. This will try to dislodge the object from their airways. If this doesn't work, then you need to move on to chest thrusts. Sit and hold the infant face down on your forearm with their head lower than their chest. Use the palm of your free hand to give 5 quick and forceful back blows between their shoulder blades. Turn the infant face up while still supporting their head and neck, and use 2 fingers to give 5 quick and powerful chest thrusts just below the nipple line. Continue back blows and chest thrusts until the object is dislodged or the infant starts to breathe again. If any time throughout this process the infant becomes unconscious, then you need to start CPR immediately and call emergency services. It is very important to note that you should never ever perform the Heimlich maneuver in infants. Remember, infants are children that are less than 1 year old, so never perform the Heimlich maneuver in infants because it can cause injury. In addition, never try to remove the object from an infant's mouth with your fingers because you can actually push the object further down their airways and cause an even greater blockage of their airways. So to summarize, an infant is a child that is less than 1 year old. And if you see an infant who is choking, the first thing you need to do is assess the severity of the situation. If the infant is coughing or breathing, just continue to let them cough and breathe and just monitor their breathing to make sure that things are okay. If the infant is not coughing, can't breathe, or starts turning blue, first, lay the infant face down on your forearm with their head lower than their chest. Then give them 5 powerful back blows with the palm of your free hand between their shoulder blades. Then turn the infant over, make sure that you're still supporting their head and their neck, and give them 5 powerful chest thrusts using 2 fingers just below the nipple line. And continue to do this until the infant starts breathing normally or the object is dislodged. If any time throughout this process the infant becomes unconscious, then begin CPR. Thank you everyone for joining us today on Meducation Africa. And we hope you've learned what to do in the instance where you find yourself with an infant who is choking. Join us next time on Medication Africa.